But as a quick little introduction, yeah, Melinda was really gracious in kicking off this whole project. Melinda approached me several months ago, and actually many months ago, maybe about more like 6 months ago. And she just kind of asked, she's doing what she does best, which is getting people to volunteer to something and get committed. And one area that we discovered as an opportunity was that there was a lot of people that were asking about club growth. And we know that memberships are coming up. And, with the pandemic, there's been a lot of challenges in trying to grow the clubs. And so what we did was we kicked off a couple surveys and asked around, what are people looking for? What are they actually looking for? And what's the actual need? Because we could just start a social course because I love to do it and it's what I enjoy doing, but we really wanted to make sure that we're implementing the right thing. And I mean, we're in a virtual world more than ever. The internet has probably, because of the pandemic, has probably leapt forward about 5 years, because the whole world is now in Zoom calls. The whole world is starting to use social media connect and they've had to learn how to connect more. So when we took off the survey results, we really thought that this is going to be the best way we can give people value and to not have to sell. One thing about me and my marketing company at MarketPie, we came from a small town. I started in a small town called Kemptville, Ontario. Now I'm in Smiths Falls. I have a team of about 5 or 6 people now. And what the one kind of guiding principle that I learned from, growing up in a small town was it's really about what you can give to the community and not what you can take from it. And when we think about selling and marketing, and we often kind of get this idea of like a slick salesperson that persuades people, and we see all the advertising that we see. And one mistake that we often make when we jump on a socials, we think we should do all those ads we see on TV and just put them on the social, when social media is more about the communities that you're used to being in. It's more like being in a Toastmasters group or an organization or a nonprofit. It's the community isn't about a bunch of people just trying to, throwing ads and statements everywhere. It's actually about community. It's social side. And that's what I really put this course together to, is to get us back to that, because you don't need a marketing degree to do that. You just need maybe a framework and permission to be able to build a community like we've already done here in Toastmasters, like you might have already done. So on my side, you asked Melinda, what's a little bit about me? Well, I've kind of jumped through a lot about it, but I will jump in one quick thing. So quick facts about me is as I said, I'm in Smiths Falls, Ontario. My first business was actually maybe not a rock band. I don't not really consider that a business, but some people do. It was a small town newspaper in a small town. I started a wedding business with my wife that was super successful. Marta wants to visit Ontario. Where's Smiths Falls? That's a mighty good question. It's just about 15 minutes past Merrickville, which is about 8 to 10 minutes past Kemptville, which is about 25 minutes south of Ottawa. So that's your path back to civilization, if you will. I'm married to a wonderful lady named Ness, and we started MarketPie, and now I've grown it to 5 team members. So marketing has been kind of the thing that got me through all my different businesses and what I really was passionate about. But really more importantly is I joined Toastmasters actually only 6 months ago. Maybe it's about 8 months by now. And I'm relatively new to it. And I've already volunteered to be part of the district marketing chair just to help grow. And really the big thing is that I'm going all in on Toastmasters. I don't know about you guys, but when I joined this club, when I joined Beyond Toastmasters, it was from a guy named Jeremy DeMerchant. And he said, Mike, if join Toastmasters, it'll change your life. And so I have, and I've met so many awesome people. And I think there's so much that I've learned from being here, from all the different people out here. And the number one thing that I think I take as more of an outsider coming in is that I see an amazing social media presence if you are amazing amount of marketing of Toastmasters, but done internally. There's all these amazing people speaking about their journey, what Toastmasters means for them, about what they love about Toastmasters, but we're selling it to other Toastmasters. So one of the things I want to do is I want to try and get us out from talking to each other about what we love about Toastmasters and maybe getting it out there. So uh, before we get into what makes Toastmasters so great and that, I just like if you guys in the chat, let's warm up a little bit. If you guys in the chat, can you maybe just type in where you guys are calling from or where what your club is, anything unique about where you guys are coming from there. If we have any dignitaries, any people, you can throw it in the chat there, because we're going to be warming up in the chat real soon, and we're going to be asking lots of interactive questions there. So Sharon is from Bedford. Oh, so someone asked where Smith Falls is. I'd have to ask where Bedford is. Got some PEI. The very best Toastmasters in Miramichi, New Brunswick. I think some people might, Erin's calling from her kitchen. Awesome. Food is there. Awesome. Dartmouth. I used to live across from Dartmouth in Halifax, actually, when I was 4. I remember very little. Someone's asking what hashtag to use on Facebook. Thanks, guys, for using the chat here. We're going to be going. And there we go. So nice for you guys to go. And we got lots of people from all over the place, so I appreciate that. So my first question of the day, as you already see on your screen here, is what makes Toastmasters so great? So if you guys, now that we've warmed up the chat, if I could get a couple people to throw in what you think makes Toastmasters so great. So yeah, just throw it out. 1 word, 2 words, or you can throw a paragraph too. It's all good. So we got some connections. There's people. We got some practice. An opportunity. Marta, do you want to jump on the mic real quick there, Marta, and share what do you mean by opportunity? Hopefully you don't mind me. Marta, you seemed like a friendly talking person. Can you jump on the mic? Oh, in a minute. All right. That's all right. So you guys already know I might occasionally call out on mics. So, but it's all good if you don't feel comfortable. It's all good. A friendly welcome to the community. Yeah. One thing that I wanted to kind of look at, and the reason why I wanted to ask from Marta there, was confidence and development potential. Yeah, there's a lot of things that I'm seeing about Toastmasters, and anyone that's been to the last couple TLIs, if any of you saw my speech on the cabbage and how to get people to pick cabbage, the one thing that I've really realized is that Toastmasters is a vehicle for leadership. A lot of people say, well, why are we talking about leadership all the time? And the big reason is that it's a bunch of people, imperfect people, volunteering their time in trying to run and manage this large organization. And it's something that's really difficult to do. And somehow Toastmasters has managed to make this thing that has lasted the test of time. And I think what everyone else is saying, the community and the people, that's the glue that kind of gets us. So I think it's a mix of the leadership that happens, the leadership that we're learning through speaking and having to do courses and the pathways programs and having to work towards things. Learning and hearing great stories. Annie, I really like that. And we're going to be talking about that real soon. So we know a lot of things about Toastmasters that's so great. So what might be some then challenges of talking to people about why Toastmasters is so great? Can anyone think of some reasons why, like if Toastmasters is so good, why aren't we just telling every single person that we come across at the grocery store? It's like, hey, have you heard about Toastmasters? I was not enough time. We have some fear. Annie, you said you loved my cabbage story. Well, maybe I'll pull it out again. That's it. The people who need it most don't think they need it. That could be difficult if someone doesn't want to learn something. Marta, they heard about it already. Marta, do you mind me picking on you again? And do you mind if you jumped on the mic and explained that one?
Well,
You have some great answers, by the way, so thank you.
by opportunities, I mean, there's so much growth from going being a officer in a club to going to area and division and district, and then becoming, going to the road of either DTM or even an
Mhm.
accredited speaker. Then I guess the opportunities could be either those positions, but also maybe the friendships and the relationships, including work and relationships where you'll find really good connections to expand either your your business or expand your position where that you already have.
Mhm. That's awesome. So thanks, yeah, sharing. That's definitely an opportunity that I've seen in Toastmasters and what I've pulled in. Um, Sarah, Sarah, Sarah Chaffee. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Do you do you mind jumping on the mic really quick and talking about that dorky thing about you feel that Toastmasters might be a little dorky?
Yeah, well, I have tried to find just the right way to describe the program that encapsulates it in 2 or 3 sentences. And you tell people it's like, oh, it's public speaking, it's leadership, and they just sort of hear all these people being sort of, I guess sort of warm and cuddly and supportive. And it's like, but are we actually getting results?
Hmm. Thank you for sharing it. So, if I could sum it up, then it's and in the chat, tell me if you agree with that statement at all. Do you guys feel that maybe Toastmasters doesn't deliver the results that the marketing might promise? Does anyone else feel that at all? And it's okay. I mean, we're all just trying to discuss and try and share some information, right? So, oh, Sherry, Sherry, definitely slightly yes, no. And I think it's really difficult. And there's like another key point that you said is that we're talking about a lot of feel good things. We're talking about, the community and sharing and nice kind of things. Well, one thing I might not challenge you on, but to consider as well is if let's even think about the current climate of what we're doing right now. Uh, I think this world is really in a situation right now where a lot of people are disconnected. And one of the things like, building friendships is really difficult, right? On your own. A lot of people have been disconnected from different friends and their normal social routines. So having a framework to even just meeting with people and working together, I think there's something powerful there because has anyone met friends from Toastmasters and has that brought them together even on the social side? Culture of the club, you need to advertise to show that. Heather, that's a good point as well. So to my question there is, has anyone developed friendships through their Toastmasters? Just a yes or no, Y or N. Oh yes, lots of friends. We've gotten lots in that. So there's another strange thing that happens. I'm not sure. Has anyone heard of the term imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome. You know, that thing where you do something and then you get, so imposter syndrome is that feeling you get where you might even have a skill. You might have developed a skill. Let's say you're a painter and you're actually really good at painting, but inside you feel that you're a fraud, that you're actually not as good as everyone says you are. And that any day somebody's going to find out that you're actually not as good of an artist as you think, because you as an artist, you're always trying to get better. So you look to the greats and you look to people who are better than you and doing bigger things, and you don't realize what you actually have. And what I've noticed a lot in Toastmasters too is that that's something that happens in Toastmasters. It happens for me in my business. I've been in business now for about 8 years. I'm not the best business owner on the planet, but I know a thing or two. I've built up some skills. It happens in even friendships and relationships. Sometimes we forget how powerful of a thing we actually have. And I think one of the big things that I'm noticing is that a lot of people, we underestimate Toastmasters. We think it's the silly thing that we do every Friday or Tuesday night. As I think so you had mentioned, right? There's a lot of dorky kind of things we do, but it's powerful. We're changing our lives. We're developing social media skills. We're developing leadership skills. We're meeting friends. We're working on something. We're getting to be part of a multinational organization without having to rise up through the corporate ranks. You get a taste of what it's like running a group or a team. If you want to volunteer, you have that access to Vim. So one of the things that the reason why I'm talking so much about this and what does this all have to do with social media is I think one of the things is we first have to really believe that there's value in what we're doing here. And I think over the next couple weeks, we're going to ask you guys to even think about why are you a Toastmaster and what is it? What's your own journey been? What have you learned from going through this Toastmaster program? If you went back in time and you never went through Toastmasters, how would your life be a little bit different? Would it be better or would it be worse? And I think most of us here, and I'm not going to speak for everyone, but I think our lives wouldn't be we wouldn't have learned the things that we have learned through Toastmasters. And we need to really understand that we've developed something special here. And the world really does need it. I think there's so many opportunities to apply what we've learned to the world. So before you can market or sell anything, you got to believe it yourself. Because if you're a salesperson and you're trying to sell something like something you don't believe in, maybe it's a product that's a really horrible product, and maybe you're trying to sell cigarettes. It'd be really hard for most of us to sell cigarettes, on the street to people that have never smoked before. Maybe selling it to people who've smoked before, that might be a little easier. Okay, that's what they want, but it would be really hard for a lot of people, I think, to sell cigarettes or something like that. So just keep that one in mind. Is I think that's one thing that we got to really do before we even start down marketing and before we start getting tactics and selling. I think the reason we end up selling so much is because we're really afraid to talk about the real things that we think is the things that why keeps us here in Toastmasters and the community, because we might think that it's valuable to us, but no one else has value in it. So we stick to the leadership and all that other stuff. Like Heather, I've grown by leaps and bounds in the last 6 years in Toastmaster. Lots of confidence. Like, guys, just read a lot of the things that we're getting here. So how do we convey the excitement of the program? Great question, Sarah. Great question. So the first thing I'm going to ask you guys is, what's the most effective form of communication that you can think of? And again, throw this in the chat. Visual is a good one. Take some ideas. What type of communication do us as human beings? Aaron, you got in right there. That's storytelling. So storytelling is super powerful. I don't need to give us a talk on that, but but before we go in, so we know, yes, storytelling is an important part about marketing. It's an important part of how we listen. If you think about all the social media you consume, how many of them are stories that you really resonate and get in? It's the story that draws you in as much as the information. Humor and visuals and all those things are just a way of telling a good story. So what are some stories that you think we could share in Toastmasters? Can anyone think of some stories that we might have that we could maybe ourselves? You don't have to learn about anything marketing well. So Barb said testimonials, cliff jumping. Catherine Ryan, I'm going to have to ask you about that one in a second there. The quaking icebreaker that turns into the quaking icebreaker. So Sarah, that person, so were you one of those people, Sarah? And you could jump on the mic if you want. Were you that person?
No,
or is that just
but I've heard that story so frequently, and but I think it benefits from the actual story. You have to hear how afraid these people were to speak.
Yeah, and in the chat, has anyone else seen that story play out themselves? Of that person who had no confidence, was a little shy and nervous, and then is maybe running a club or being a a VP PPR or anything? Has anyone just a yes, no? I see Ann Stewart's shaking her head. Yes. Yeah, that's cool. So some people are, is that Peggy? Was that lots of yeses and lots of yeses, right? So it is, oh, somebody's sharing a screen. Alrighty, it's all good. I'm not sure if that's possible to unshare. Let me just.
Yes, the host can do that. Or if you
Yeah.
start sharing yours.
Are you the host? You can probably change that.
I'll just yeah, I'll just screen share really quick. It's just because my screen's not set up with all of the. I'll stop sharing. There we go. Thank you. Because my screen's set up, I got some other things and notes and all these other things, so I don't have the full one. Anyway, little blip. It's all good. Technology is always a challenging thing. So perfect. So again, I'm spending a lot of time on this, not because I'm trying to fill an hour. I'm really spending time on this is because it's one of the most important things that you can do is to make sure that you go in with the right mindset and to really think through on what are the challenges that you have, because everyone's got a different challenge. So I'm going to speak generally today, right? That I think one of the biggest challenges is that we undervalue what Toastmasters is. And we've seen just in this chat, if you look at it and knowing some of the questions that were asked, like if we had to ask, if someone asked us, does Toastmasters get us results? Well, we've just seen it. Everyone here has seen one of those stories, and some of you have lived it. Is Toastmasters, does it build you some skills? Does it open up opportunities? Well, we've just seen it here. Some of us have said it. And we need to think about this, right? Because it's something that takes us time to get used to and get comfortable with is sharing those stories. And so what I've really designed this course for is to give us a bit of the framework, and to, if you took away nothing else from this course and from the tactics, maybe some of them might be too outlandish or crazy or just something maybe you just don't think it'll work. If you can just get the one nugget, which is Toastmasters has value, and there's another quaking, shy person out there whose life could be changed because of it. If you could just get that and know that you don't have to sell and talk about that, you can just share your own story, your own experience, and what you've seen, the growth that you've gone, just sharing on social media something that you've seen. Like, how many people here, if you saw how many people here on social media, if you saw a photo of your best friend or one of your good friends celebrating an achievement, something that they were proud of, what would you probably do? Just throw that in the chat too. Again, what would you do if you saw, a friend of yours celebrating something that they were proud of?
Congratulate them.
Yeah, Peter, that's it. Thanks for jumping on the mic. This is a safe, fun place. We're all allowed to do that. So yeah, congratulate them. You like them? Would you send them a comment, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
I want to
jump in, Peter. What's your thoughts?
Well, I wanted to say earlier, I'm in a very, very small club. And the other day, a couple of meetings ago, somebody from Montreal who's a part of our club talked about the struggles of inviting people to join. Mm-hmm. And I think it's so important that all of us have friends, and engaging that friend, and not tell them to become a member, but engaging them, and this is off the top, and I don't speak very easily, very smoothly a lot of the time, but engaging them and telling them the crazy things you do at Toastmasters. Because as somebody said a moment ago, dorky is the new in, but if we can talk to people about how much we like what we do, and if they're friends, they're maybe going to be in maybe want to come see this, mm-hmm. the strange and perhaps to us wonderful things we do. And we don't want to invite them to be a member. There's a distinction between the two things. And I didn't grasp that a long time ago. But if you understand what I'm saying, because if people that we know, friends of ours, we tell them about, well, this thing that we're excited about, and they might want to come and try it the first time.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not.
No, that's good. It's really good. I appreciate you sharing that side, right? There's something really important that I think you touched on, right? And I think it's a gap that a lot of us might be feeling, right? So there's the telling people about Toastmasters, and then there's the asking them to join. And sales, for me, the way I think about sales is the thing that bridges the gap between someone being aware that Toastmasters exists and them actually joining. And marketing, for me, is the thing that brings that gap closer together, so you don't have to sell as much. And if you don't spend time bringing that gap together first, the sell is really difficult. And that's where you have to be persuasive and be a good salesperson. So one of the things, and I've made a video, if you guys saw in the Facebook group, I think you might have seen my video, is nobody cares about Toastmasters. And the whole reason behind that, nobody cares about Toastmasters, is if someone has never heard of Toastmasters, they don't care about it. They got their own lives. Even if they heard about Toastmasters, that divide between learning about Toastmasters and joining is really wide. And the reason is that they still don't really care. There's nothing in it for them. They haven't been shown any value. So if we just start talking about, hey, you got to join this, hey, you got to join this, but we haven't given any value to someone first, how likely do you think they are to want to join? And so,
yes, right.
So one of the things is that's why storytelling is so powerful, is because you're not selling, you're not telling people to join Toastmasters. You're just giving them a window into what Toastmasters, what Sherry just said, what's in it for them. And the reality is that what's in it for Toastmasters, the reality is that it's us, what we've accomplished through Toastmasters, that's can be in it for them too. What you've saying, hey, I was that quaking speaker, I was a little nervous, or in my case, I've been able to really develop my coaching. Of the last couple TLIs that I've been at, I've helped the people within the TLI work on their speeches and work on presenting so that they can really make an effective speech. I've been able to do the coaching this time around, and the one before, I've been presented this opportunity as well. And so I'm sharing it. I'm telling people, I'm like, guys, if you're really ambitious, you can go pretty far in Toastmasters. But even if you're not ambitious and you just want to get a little more confident, there's something in it there. So sharing our story is a way of giving value and to the people, because they want to know what is in it for them. And that's a quick way of doing them.
Mike?
Yeah, jump in.
Hi, my name is Marie Barnes. I have a quick story if I could share, please.
Please do. Thank you.
Okay, I'm a member of a club. I'm in Virginia. We have a new members orientation. And this past Sunday, we had a session. So I made a decision I'm the president. I made a decision after talking with the VPE to invite someone who had made an inquiry through TI. Said they were interested in the club. So initially I thought, well, this is for new members and this person's not a member, so I don't know if they should come. But anyway, decided to send the information, to send this person the information. And the person came and he shared that he's a professional. He is moving up the ladder, very anxious, needs some support in terms of speaking. We actually did table topics to demonstrate that the different roles. And he, at the end of the meeting, decided and asked if he could join. So just kind of sharing that sometimes it means maybe doing something a little bit different. Like I said, I thought new members orientation would just be for new members, but decided to, extend the invite to him. And, he felt that the club, what he saw was something that would clearly benefit him.
Exactly. Yeah, that's great. Thanks for sharing that, Maria. I really appreciate that. And you actually just touched on something that you've gotten into my final slide, which I'm going to get to just real quick here, which is, I'm going to jump ahead just because you've inspired me a little bit there. One of the things that I'm going to ask you guys to do, you know what, I'm going to back up one more thing here. This is what's fun about doing courses, is that you can change things on the fly. So before we get into things, I'm going to ask you guys to do one thing this week, and we're going to get into the homework now. I'm going to get this, basically after every one of these courses, I'm going to give a little bit of homework to do, and then I'm also going to invite questions. And just like I did in the last time that I did this, is that if people want to stick around afterwards and get some one-on-one questions and go off a little bit, because obviously I'm teaching to everyone here, we're going to have some time. But the reason why I wanted to jump ahead again, Marie, is that what I'm going to be talking about is, this is going to be the action items that we're going to need everyone to, that I'm going to ask everyone to do, which is, before we can even start marketing, is we need to find that one nugget, that one bedrock that we can lay our foundation on. That is, doesn't matter what anyone says about Toastmasters, if people come or if they leave, or if your club is struggling or doing well, or whatever doubt comes in your head, is I want you to find one story like Marie just shared, or write one thing about your Toastmasters journey that you're proud of, and share it in the Facebook group. And bonus points if you can do a 1-minute video. As people are saying, Robert, hashtag my why. And I think you really want to find that thing that says, you know what, this is the thing of why I'm still here. This is the thing that I know gives me tons of value, that I'm going to just keep coming in year after year, because I know that I've achieved that, or I've gotten it, or I've seen it. And I think as everyone that's taken the time to come here today, you guys are showing some real leadership in learning, taking this time to learn so that you can help grow your club for the other members. If you can get this why, because sometimes you achieve something and maybe you're not learning something new, but as leaders, I think it's our job, is once we've received something, to be able to pass that down to someone else, to create the space for someone behind us to get what we have. And whatever that reason is, we need to really be able to define it and write it down, put it on a wall, write it in your agenda, put it as your desktop background. But find that one thing on why Toastmasters is for you, or why you know it brings and delivers value. So when the question comes up of, you know, why don't I want to do my social media posts, or why should I, promote, or should I talk to this person about it, or, should I share that story about me, winning an award, or table topics of the day, or whatever else we're proud of in Toastmasters. You need that thing that says, you know what, it's worth doing, because I want someone else to experience what I've experienced. Oh yeah, no one can see my face. I'm going to have the, yeah, and you missed all my Italian gestures as well too. So we'll be getting the picture-in-picture next time. So yeah, that's the homework that I wanted you guys to do. So if you can share it in video form, we're Toastmasters. If anyone's good at telling stories, it should be us. We should have this on lockdown. And we're going to be going through some strategies. So I'm also going to back up a bit. So I'm going to wrap things up, and we're going to get into some questions. So if you have some questions, get them ready and in the chat, and we'll just start going through them just to get a sense of where you guys are at, or what's on your mind. Because I'm going to take this social course. I have an outline for everything, but I'm going to be adjusting it based on your guys' feedback. So this is what we're doing. So today, it was getting that storytelling and finding out our why. The next session is we're going to dive deep into what's in it for them, and how can we take some of these stories that we're coming up with, and how do we actually give it to someone in a way that they want to hear it. Marta's, you got an inspirational desktop background. That way people see it when I present. Yeah, that's good. Well, get your why out there too, right? So session 2, what's in it for them? We're going to be talking about one of the other challenges that this social course is fixing is documenting content we're already making. And I'll give you the 10-second version of that is, with the reason why a lot of us have trouble marketing is that we think it's going to take us a lot of time, when really all we need to do is share what we're already doing instead of trying to think of something new to create. Session 4, we're going to talk about making marketing part of your club's routine. This is a long game. If anyone was looking for the 1 hour, I'm going to show up at 1 hour for the social meeting on a Tuesday night on February 23rd. And now I'm going to be a marketer. Got some news for you. It's not going to happen. What will happen though is that if we can develop some skill sets and we can consistently implement them over time, and it has to do it over time, it has to be relatively simple. And it has to be something that we actually believe is going to work. If we believe that and we stick to it for 6 to 12 months, that's how we start getting some results. Yeah, thanks, Heather, for the reaction. Gavin loved it there. Yeah, did anyone think that this was going to be, did anyone think they were coming in for just a quick little short thing and they're going to get any results? I'd love to hear it, because I would love to talk with you, and not to ridicule, but just to, maybe see where we're different there. Session 5 is Facebook pages and video. So once we've learned the foundations of what's in it for them, how do we create content on a regular basis? How do we then make this routine? And how do we include our club so we're not doing this all by ourselves? I'll be going through a lot of tactical things, setting up our Facebook page, maybe some more advanced video stuff. Well, we're going to be going some through workshopping and things like that. And I've decided to not make this a 5 session. I thought, you know what, this is what I love to do. So I'm going to throw in even an extra little bonus session in where we'll be able to answer. I'll spend like the whole time literally just answering. We'll be doing question after question. So this will be a chance after you've tried some things and gotten some experience, we can get into the nitty gritty and find out where maybe I've missed some stuff. And then we can make sure that we shore things up there. So, and yeah, so that's the kickoff intro and it's not a super long one this time, because really it is a simple thing of understanding what your why is and talking through and making sure that what some of those stories are that you want to be sharing. But it's a very important one. So, oh, I just realized that you weren't seeing my slides. I had a really nice little slide saying thank you. So